Hey everybody, I'm Misty Buck, president of Missing Digital Marketing. And as you may or may not know, I'm also an athlete mental health and mindset coach. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today because it is Marketing Monday, and I have an awesome guest with me today. I am so excited to welcome Claudine Nelson to the show. Now, Claudine is somebody who I have known through an extension of other people for years now, many years now, but this is the first time we've had the opportunity to sit down face to face. And really what they do for the small business community in Miami is really incredible. So I'm going to let her chat all about that. So Claudine, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. I know you have a lot going on with the fam. We were just chatting about taking your daughter to college and whatnot. So I know you're
exciting
busy.
and nerve-wracking and all of the emotions.
All of the things and all of the emotions. Yeah. So welcome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about AM Insurance Services, and we'll talk about marketing and all that good stuff too. Awesome. You guys have been in business for like forever.
Yes, we have been. So AM Insurance Services is a brokerage firm, and we work with small business owners in helping them put together employee benefit packages. So, over the years, we have found that benefits is usually the first thing that a candidate, comes out. So, with marketing, and we're going to be talking about marketing, that's a good way for them to actually position themselves to not only to retain employees, but also to hire new talent. So we work with business owners in putting together good competitive packages, and just we're kind of like an extension of HR for them. And it's been great.
So when you say benefits, what kind of benefits are we talking about?
So we're talking about medical, dental, vision, your disability insurance, life insurance, HSAs, HRAs. So we can certainly get into all that. That might be a different segment altogether.
Right.
But it's just those types of benefits, employee benefit packages, that really sets some of the employers apart whenever they are looking to retain or looking just to hire, employees.
Right. Because benefits always have been huge, but I have to imagine that in today's market, it's even more important for small businesses.
Absolutely. So, we had the Affordable Care Act that kind of rolled around, and for employers that had, a certain number of lives, 50 plus, they were required to offer benefits. But there's certainly a need for that, right? I mean, I think medical coverage is just very expensive. That's probably medical bills is probably one of the main reasons, for bankruptcy. So it's just being able to offer that. And then just having that employee be healthy for the employer, right? So if they're able to get their preventive services covered, and then, a healthy employee is going to be a good employee. They're not taking time off from work. So that's just, one of the many things that is important for an employer to be able to offer. Salary, of course, PTO, right? Everybody likes a PTO, but the benefits, it's just at the top, 3 items.
Right. If you have good insurance, retirement, and all those things.
Right.
Yeah. So like, what are so you mentioned small business, 50 people and under. What if somebody had 2 full-time employees? Is that you would do like a benefits package for them? So it really doesn't matter as long as it's under 50. Right.
So our target market is just business owners with less than 50 employees, right? There are bigger brokerage firms that, really they're attracted to those larger employers, but we do see that there's a need for a benefits consultant to be able to partner up with them. Not only do we work with the employers to put together those packages that I spoke about, but it's also working with the employee if they ever have any claims or have any issues with that. So it's just putting, together something that's good for them. So to your question on the 2 employees, absolutely. Yeah. If they're on payroll, we can certainly help them with that as well. 4 employees, that's okay too. So just make sure that they're on payroll. I often get asked the question of, I only have 1099 employees. Or they're not employees, but they're independent contractors. That may not necessarily work, but we do have other solutions, right? So we can.
So for even 1099, you have. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
Because we also, in addition to working with employers, we also work with individuals. So we're able to help them through whether it be Obamacare or a short-term medical policy. So we do work with certain population that they may not get their benefits through the employer. Like if we can't get to the employer to offer that plan, then we will work together with the individual to be able to walk them through whether it be a temporary policy, while the Obamacare is what it's most commonly referred to, open enrollment, until that comes into play. So we really are there as a resource, not just to the employees, the employer, the individual, just because everyone needs health insurance. It's
Right.
important.
Yeah, it is really important. So as a
Yeah.
broker, I'm assuming part of that is helping businesses search for the best policy to fit their
Right.
needs and their budget, I'm guessing.
Right. So what we do is under the group side, we are the benefits broker. So we do represent all the major carriers, and it's just trying to find a solution. I would probably think that the benefits is probably one of the top line items in a budget that's more expensive,
Yeah.
right? Payroll,
Right.
you'll have, and then your benefits. So it's being able to find something that's creative, whether it be like a higher deductible plan with a gap policy on top to be able to lower that cost. There's also things that are called like worksite products, like an Aflac type of product. So just being able to find solutions, and rather than just renewing this group over and over. We often get employers that tell me, well, no, I have to wait until my open enrollment. I'm like, no, we don't have to wait until your policy renews. I mean, you can always research the market, and if we find a solution that is going to be a good fit for you, then that employer can move to a different
at any time.
At any time.
Oh,
right.
So that's
Exactly.
good to know. I did not know that.
Yeah, they don't have to wait until their open enrollment, at least for the group side. So that's
Right.
important.
Right. Okay, so speaking of open enrollment, I think you mentioned to me the open enrollment for individual policies is coming up. Is that correct?
It is. So pretty soon you're probably going to start seeing a lot of ads about Obamacare in the marketplace. So open enrollment starts November 1st and it runs through December 15th. So what we do is that we reach out to all of our clients and just tell them, okay, listen up, open enrollment is coming around.
Right.
So get your credentials, make sure that you have all your information. In the individual market, it works a little different because if you're on Obamacare or the marketplace, they look at your income, right? So your projected income for 2022. For 2023. So we walk our clients through that process just because the government put it together, right? It's an advanced premium tax credit. So we have to make sure that we talk to them about it and walk them through it. So it is a process. So it is from November 1st through December 15th. So that 45-day window is very important for people to make decisions. I mean, and it's a decision that is going to allow them to have the coverage for the rest of the year next year. I mean, there's certain things that will allow them to make plan changes, like a special enrollment or a qualifying event. But for the most part, if you don't have any changes, you're locked in. Right. I often get clients that tell me, well, Claudine, I missed the open enrollment. Now we're in March. Can I buy health insurance? And I don't like to say no, but I have to tell them, I'm so sorry if you don't have a qualifying event. If you didn't get married recently, lose your health insurance, something like that, we have to wait until open enrollment. Yeah. So it's important. So it's November 1st through December 15th. And that's the open enrollment for individual.
All right. So you guys see their website address scrolling on here. This is how you can reach them. If this is something that you have a question about, whether you're a small business owner or you're an individual who wants to know more about this open enrollment process. So it sounds to me like the open enrollment is something that you want to start sooner than later, because it's really, I haven't done it before, but it sounds like it's something that's really a process.
It is a process. The thing with open enrollment is because it starts on the 1st of November, the carriers, the insurance companies usually don't release their rates until November 1st. So here we are, October, I get calls. They're like, hey, Claudine, what do the rates look like? I'm like, we don't have the rates just yet. But it's certainly something that you can do to put together all the information. We open our calendars in September, 2 or 3 months prior to that, so we can start scheduling our clients and anyone that really needs help, because it is a process. So, getting somebody through the process is you meet with them once, with personal or via Zoom. Thank God for technology, right? Go through it, talk to them about their doctors. Network is very important, right? The insurance companies, and then get them through that entire enrollment process. So we try to make it as seamless as possible, but definitely make sure that when you're going through that is having all your documents in order, right? Make sure if you're going to be claiming someone on your income tax return, that's important to know your projected income, which I know it's hard, but we do need to kind of get those, that piece of information to be able to put that together. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Preparation.
means preparation.
100%.
Preparation. So don't do the last minute thing if open enrollment.
We ask that you don't. And it's hard. I get it. It's hard. We all get busy, and it's during the holidays, and it goes by, and time flies. It goes by quickly. But if you start now and you kind of work through it, it's we find that we're able to find a plan, the right plan with the right network. And again, I can't stress that enough, right? And then the right product for the individual, because that's really what we do. We just, we are the broker, but we really try to find the right solution for the family or the business owner. I mean, that's really what we're there for. It's not,
and I love that, because the options are overwhelming.
Yes, they can
and
be.
they're often very similar. Like one plan is very similar to another, and you're like, it's like,
what is this?
It can look really confusing. So I love what you guys are doing. I think it is such a service to the community, because even though there are, I'm sure, like everything else, products out there, you can go online, find you this, find that, Intuit offers payroll. Now they started offering benefit package, so you can do that too. And as tempting as that may seem, I have to imagine that going through a broker that knows this business, there's a ton of advantages to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been in the benefit space, myself in the benefit space for 16 years. AM Insurance was founded in 1988. So certainly have a lot of knowledge in that. I've been in insurance since 2000, and I sometimes think to myself, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, whoa. But we often get questions like, wow, from attorneys sometimes. They're clients of ours. They're like, I'm very confused. I mean, these are very well-educated individuals. And when it comes to looking at all of these policies, like what's a deductible? What's out of pocket? Like, how does that all work? So we try to really break it down for them. And oftentimes when we're done, we get the, oh my gosh, Claudine, thank you so much. You made it so easy, right? So it's just having that time, and it's that educational moment, and because it is, like you said, it is overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Is it in network, out of network? So
and even when you have the policy, that's super confusing, right? You're like, I don't even know how to use my benefits now. Do I have to have a referral? Did that like, I don't know
exactly.
So
and just giving our number down, right? I think it's having we live in a world where they tell you call the insurance company or call the 800 number. I mean, that's not who we are. There's certainly somebody that this is important to them. And if they're having a moment or an emergency, they want to reach out to us. They can't reach out to an 800 number and wait for 45 minutes in line, So that's where we come in.
Right. So in other words, if you're a small business owner here in South Florida, what areas do you serve?
Well, we serve all the way from Key West, and we go all the way up to the Panhandle. So anywhere in the state of Florida.
So if you're in Florida and you're a small business owner with less than 50 or less employees, and you are an individual that's interested in this open enrollment that's coming up and navigating that, take down that email or that website address that we just had on the screen earlier, and make sure that you contact AM Insurance Services and ask for Claudine.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So you mentioned that you guys have been in business since the 80s.
Yes.
And you've been in this for over 20 years yourself.
Yes.
So this is Marketing Monday. So let's talk a little bit about how you have built your client base over the years. So I think we talked a little bit. It's networking. So how do you bring in clients?
So that's a great question. And we often get that, we get asked that. So AM Insurance was founded by my mother-in-law in the 80s. And she, back in the 80s, there's no social media, there's nothing. So it's really been able to cultivate our clients and just, kind of sort of get referred from within, right? So once we started doing that, we are of the opinion, the belief that you take care of your clients and then they're going to refer you. I mean, that's kind of sort of how we've grown AM Insurance. But over the past few years, we do networking. BNI is fantastic. I'm part of South Florida professionals. That's been amazing for us. So just being able to do that, and then once people get to know you, they get to they trust you, they like you, they know what it is that you're talking about. So it works. So for our networking is just been, it's been great, but the marketing has really been just by taking care of our clients and just really focusing on that. And then asking now because, we're in the technology world, right? Google reviews has been great for us. So asking for reviews or asking for, like, hey, here you go. Would you like to say something about AM? And that's really has been it. I mean, we don't do Facebook.
We don't have sophisticated.
Not yet. I am exploring that. And I know that that's a big deal with marketing, but it's been just really taking care of our clients. And we do believe that you do the right thing, and it's just word of mouth. And we've been very blessed with that. We have our website, AM Insurance Services, but the marketing has just been by old school, taking it, one client at a time, and doing the right thing for them. And it's been very good for us.
Right. And you just said the word old school, and while it may be, old school, I think that a lot of businesses, especially newer businesses, when they come into the market and they're bringing their product or their service or whatever it is, I think a lot of people they want to do like all these things with marketing and this and that, but they forget that a good business is what you have a product, you're solving a problem, and you're providing good customer service.
Correct.
And customer service is your marketing. And I think sometimes people forget about that and sort of like the bells and the whistles, because the options are overwhelming for marketing these days. Yeah. We know this. So it's constantly like changing, and this is new and that's new. So I think that that's a really good reminder, is if, you're having possibly, some trouble with your marketing, maybe you don't have a huge budget, go back and look at your customer service. What are you doing there? Is there anything else that you can do to stand out, go above and beyond, give people a reason to talk about you?
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep. And I believe, there's a thing that I tell my staff. I'm like, we pick up the phone here. That, like, not picking up or answering your phone that's not non-negotiable. We have to pick up the phone. So, we're all attached to our phones. And even if I'm on a call, I can just text somebody back. All people want is just to speak to a person,
right?
Just that connection,
right?
So if you're able to go ahead and just answer the phone, customer service, and nowadays it's a quick, review on Google, and then a bad one, and then that's the end of that, right?
Right.
So it's being able to go above and beyond. So even if you tell your client, like, I'll call you right back, that's all they want. Because
they want to be heard, right?
Correct.
And so I think that's true for even when someone leaves a review for you. Hey, thanks for leaving that review.
100%.
Because now they feel validated that they took the time and that you heard their compliment, right? One, that you heard what they had to say. And two, that you are appreciative of their time. I mean, who doesn't love that? So I think those are like the simple little detailed things. And that's something that we're constantly stressing, is that piece of communication. And I think a large part of the reason that we've been in business going on 15 years is because of that communication. Yeah. Like, that's
agreed. It's back to the
not
basics.
Just like, I'll answer that email when I answer it.
No.
I'm in receipt of your email, working on it. Thanks.
Correct.
Right. Like,
correct. So it's back to the basics. I mean, there's like you said, there's a lot of different marketing things and marketing tools and things that you could use, but it's going back to that. Just having that connection with your client, because if you do, then they will refer you, because they'll be like, wow, Claudine called me back, and that's all we needed. I mean, she's there, her team is there. And sometimes we can't get to you, but I have somebody for you that we can, you know what I mean? So I think it's just getting back to the basics. So if you're a new business owner that are trying to kind of navigate the waters of all of that, I mean, I would probably just, definitely networking is good, but just really taking care of your base, and having that communication and answering those reviews, even if it's a negative review.
Yes. Always answer the negative reviews.
Yes.
Positive too. I think people lose sight of that. They take positive ones for granted, but for sure answering the negative ones, because those are customer service opportunities. And maybe it's a fake review and those are harder to take down, but at least you can address that there. But I think, don't be afraid of them and that you think you're going to lose everything. Just use it as an opportunity to show how good your customer service is and how much you care about your clients and your business. Yeah. Instead of, I think people get in comment wars, and I don't think that reflects well on a business. No. Personally. Yeah. But so I'm glad that you're saying all this.
And I think, just to real quick on that point, and I think also, we receive feedback, just individuals and business owners receive feedback. And I was on my way over here, I was talking to a client, and we got into the conversation about getting feedback and being able to work on something like, hey, what happened? What went wrong here?
Right.
And then being able to say, okay, well, team, this is what went wrong and we need to fix that. So being able to say, thank you for that. We're going to work on that. So I think it's important to go ahead, definitely answer but also it's a good opportunity to correct certain things that you mean, sometimes we think we're doing it correctly, but if there's an opportunity to change that, I think that's also a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. I mean, you're not going to agree with everyone's criticism necessarily. And maybe that's just your values and the way that you do your business, in which case I'm sure there's another business that can service you that does business the way you want and being at peace with that. But I think also using it as an opportunity to say, hey, like here's a little crack here. Like let's fix that sooner than later. So, and I think I love that you're saying all this because again, I don't think people necessarily think of these little details as affecting your marketing, but it does because it's your brand. The way people talk about you, especially when you're not controlling that message, is part of your brand. Right. So
agreed 100%. And just how you carry yourself also in the community, I think is important too.
Yeah. Definitely. Good. So, all right. So we talked a lot about customer service. Do you have any networking tips? Like if somebody's looking for a networking group, I heard you mention BNI and a couple other groups. How do you choose which networking groups you're going to be a part of? Because we only have so much time and there's infinite networking opportunities.
Right. 100%. Yeah. So I would say just find a group that you can connect with the individuals. Right. So for me, and I'll say it, South Florida professionals, they have been amazing, right? It's not exclusive to the category, like, some of the, like BNI has category specific, right? But certainly just find that connection. South Florida professionals does it, and they live by the principle: people do business with people that they like, they know, and they trust, right? So those are the three things. So if you're able to really just work that's been helpful to us. The one-to-ones, of course, is very important, and just really take it from how can I help you, right? So tell me about your business. Tell me how I can be the voice for you. So if I'm meeting with somebody that's in marketing, it's like, who is that ideal client for you? And I think that those business owners or that have been in the networking space for a long time, they get that, right? But sometimes it's like, well, we get it. People go into it and the mentality is like, what am I going to get from you? Right. Well,
and I find that frustrating. Don't you find that frustrating? Like, and I know that people don't necessarily mean any harm by that. But I think when you approach the situation and you're trying to build a relationship, but you're doing that based on what are you going to give me? Yeah, it doesn't. If I'm being very blunt, I don't want to give you anything.
Yeah, of course. We have a saying.
I'll try and help you, but it doesn't make me, like, oh, here, it's very one-sided, in other words, and you lose that communication that we were talking about.
Correct. So we have a thing in our family that we say, less of me, more of you. But it kind of sort of works out at the end.
I love that. Say it again.
Less of me, more of you.
I love it. Write it down. I'm going to do the same.
Less of me, more of you. Because now you're pouring into that person, right? I mean, we do it in our relationships with our kids and my husband, but it also works with business. So less of me, more of you. So if I'm referring you and I'm really investing in you and how can I help you grow? There's now that trust. Now that, we're getting to know each other, we're getting to like each other. And then you'll eventually, whenever you're having a conversation with someone, with a business owner, and they're so frustrated about their insurance bill, and it's like the benefits, and I have my employees coming to me, you're going to say, hey, Claudine and AM Insurance Services can help you with that. Right. So it's having that, again, less of me, more of you attitude. Some of the, networking groups, they have the giver's gain. Right. That's a big one for BNI. Right. But we believe that, that's important for networking.
So how does that show up for you in business or in other ways? Like can you give an example of how you might apply something like that?
Something of less of me, more of you for business. So whenever we are, we speak with a lot of business owners. We talk to them about, their benefits. And then in conversation, like what's your pain point right now? Like, what are you guys going through? I mean, I saw that, John is no longer in the front desk. Like tell me a little bit more. And it's just going back to the basics of relationships, right? So whenever you're able to speak to your client and they'll be like, no, because of my banker and I can't get a loan. Oh, well, guess what? I know so-and-so, and having a sphere within your group of professionals that you can kind of refer to. but it goes back to those relationships and those conversations that you're having with your clients,
Right.
and being able to do that. And I know that as a when I started with networking, and there's some very strong, solid networkers that, they're really good at what they do. To me, it was a little intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, it was intimidating.
Yeah.
You walk in a room and you're like, okay, I'll stand in the corner. I'm
Right.
good over here,
Right.
right? So being able to, you grow in the outside of your comfort zone, and we all know those cliches, but it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
It's hard.
So when I joined South Florida Professionals, they made it easy. So again, going back to finding a networking group that makes it easy and be genuine, like that allows you to be who you are, because people are going to do the business with Claudine. They're going to do business with Misty. So,
right.
Be yourself, and then that will work. It will just show. Be passionate about it. Is that what you're doing? I mean,
Right.
Insurance is boring. Nobody wants to talk about insurance, but we're passionate about helping people. When
Right.
they come to us with a solution, with a problem, we like to find that solution
Right.
for them.
And I think that's what creates customers for life.
Yeah.
Because when somebody knows that they can count on you, that you're going to hear them, that you care about them, then I think we all want a good, quick, easy service.
Right.
But I think we crave that personalized attention too. Everybody does.
Agreed.
I don't care how digital we get.
Yeah.
I have not seen that
Agreed.
change.
Yeah. And I don't think that we will, right? Because we're humans, right?
Right.
We need that connection. We need that social interaction. And I think that that's why networking works. But certainly having that communication is important. When we have clients that are calling us and they're almost in tears,
Right.
and we are able to help them, like, they tell me, Claudine, I can't get the pharmacy to give me my medication. That's an emergency for them, right?
Mhm.
I have lots of clients that call me with issues with whatever XYZ, but that's their emergency. So if you're
Right.
if they call the insurance company, they're going to get someone that they don't know,
Right.
versus if they call a broker.
So that's interesting that
That's
you
important.
said that. So it's not just, I love that you're saying this because I hadn't even realized this. So it's not just about setting someone up or a business up with a policy.
Oh,
It's
no.
when I don't understand my benefits and I'm frustrated and about to pull my hair out,
Yep.
you can help
100%.
find those answers. So that's huge.
That's the value. Yeah.
That's
what
huge.
yeah.
That's beyond a value.
Yeah, we don't. On my business card, you'll get my cell phone,
Mhm.
and it's not a business phone. No, that's my personal line. My
Right.
husband wants to throw it out the window, and I'm like, no. I'm like, sorry, this is it's like my whoopee. But
Right.
these are people that need me, right?
Right.
And I feel for them. And again, it's their emergency. So when they don't call, I had a poor, bless her, she called me, Claudine, I need an urgent care. And I said, and she was not feeling well. So again, it's that connection. It's not calling an 800 number. It's calling a person, going back to the basics.
Right.
And, again, the new business owner, just really taking care of your clients and answering the phone. That's all. I mean, it's very basic. We just want to make sure we can answer that and be there for them.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we just have a couple minutes left. I cannot believe the half an hour always flies by. I told you it always flies by because we're just chatting. So anyways, how can people reach you? We had the website up. We'll get that up one more time for you all. How else can people reach you, Claudine?
So aminsuranceservices.com is the website. We are on Facebook and we are on Instagram. Now, I said earlier that social media for me was a little bit like, so we are working on that. My cell phone number, 305-724-5422. If we can put that up, that would be great. But certainly, website is usually the place that you can find me there as well.
One more time.
305-724-5422.
That is her cell phone number.
That is my cell.
Give Claudine a call if you have any question at all. I'm sure she will be happy to answer that. So as we just have going into our last minute here, is there anything that we haven't talked about today or a message that you want to share, anything like that?
No, that's just, open enrollment. Like I said, it's coming around the corner. Just make sure that you prepare, make sure that you have all your information and all your, documents in order. If you are a business owner and you are looking to just search the market for whether it be, the medical insurance to shop it, just, let us know. We'll certainly hear for you. We go through the whole market, research, and if it works and we can make it happen for you. So yeah, absolutely. Give us a call.
I love it. Make it happen.
Make it happen.
That's how we're going to close the show today. I think Monday is a good time. Make
you.
it happen Monday. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I really appreciate your time here. I know you're going to help a lot of people just by this one segment. So
awesome.
Thank you for that and for sharing your wisdom and your tips, which were phenomenal.
Awesome. Thanks.
So thank you. And we will see you guys next week for another Marketing Monday. Have another special guest coming up for you. I'm not going to tell you which one. I'm going to hold that one as a secret because she's really fun. So we will see you guys next week. I hope you have an awesome week. Make it a good one. Be blessed. Be healthy. All the good things. And we'll see you then. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.